In a single night, the leaders of House Stark are slaughtered. With the orchestration of the Red Wedding, the Boltons execute a violent takeover of the North, replacing an ancient dynasty in a matter of hours. But seizing a castle through betrayal is a different challenge than holding a kingdom through winter. This rivalry puts a legendary question to the test. Is it actually safer for a ruler to be loved or to be feared? Because in the North, the Starks and Boltons represent the absolute extremes of both. For thousands of years, the Starks maintained their rule through a specific social contract. They protected their vassal families from the elements and the wild, and in exchange, they received a loyalty that spanned generations. House Bolton offered a different legacy. From the Dreadfort, they built a reputation for flaying their enemies, using the threat of a slow, agonizing death to keep their neighbors in line. With the Starks gone, the North is forced into a system where obedience no longer comes from an ancestral bond, but from the edge of a blade. Robb Stark was a brilliant battlefield commander, but he was a poor diplomat. By breaking his marriage tax and executing his own allies, he left his coalition vulnerable to the highest bidder. Roose Bolton saw these mistakes as an opportunity. Roose is a man of calculated fear, quiet, patient, and perfectly comfortable waiting for his allies to bleed out before he makes his move. He spent the war snapping the ties that bound the North to Winterfell, eventually isolating the Starks until they had no one left to defend them at the Red Wedding. But his new regime is built on a hollow foundation. To stay in power, the Boltons must keep the remaining northern houses in constant surveillance, using the terror of the Dreadfort to ensure no one dares to speak of the Starks. While Roose successfully usurped the northern throne, he did so by destroying the trust that makes a kingdom function. He has power, but he has no political capital to help him survive a future crisis. If Roose is the architect of this new order, his son Ramsay is its executioner. Ramsay shifts the family strategy from calculated control to a style defined by chaotic fear. He rules through unpredictable cruelty. By torturing highborn prisoners and hunting people for sport, Ramsay ensures that his subjects are too terrified to even think about rebellion. This style of rule creates a brittle hierarchy. While the Boltons appear completely untouchable behind their walls, their power relies entirely on maintaining an image of total dominance. If that image cracks, the entire structure has no secondary support to keep it standing. By treating his vassals as victims rather than partners, Ramsay creates a North that is looking for any opportunity to see the Boltons fail. A ruler who relies on escalating terror eventually reaches a breaking point. When the fear of the ruler becomes equal to the fear of death, the people no longer have a reason to obey. That breaking point arrives with Jon Snow and Sansa Stark. While Sansa uses her knowledge of Bolton cruelty to forge new alliances, Jon earns the support of his men by standing on the front lines and taking the same risks as his soldiers. The Battle of the Bastards is the final test for both houses. It's where the Stark method of building alliances meets the Bolton method of breaking them. Ramsay's army fights with discipline, but they have no reason to die for him. When the Stark reinforcements finally arrive, that rigid shield wall shatters, and the terrified Bolton army completely dissolves into a chaotic retreat. Ramsay's end is a direct reflection of his rule. He is killed by his own hounds, creatures he trained to be vicious and then starved, proving that a regime built on hunger and pain will eventually consume its creator. After the battle, House Bolton is effectively erased. Because they never earned the loyalty of the North, there is no one left to carry on their name or defend their legacy. The Starks survived because their people believed they were worth fighting for, even after they were defeated. The Boltons fell because their power existed only as long as they were scary. Fear can win a war, but only respect can keep a house alive.